Namaste. We're going to be exploring Patanjali's Ashtanga system of Raja Yoga. Patanjali's Ashtanga system. There are 8 paths to it. Asht means 8 and Ang means path. The beauty of Patanjali is that he's not just going to give you philosophy, but he's going to give you a practical toolkit that allows you to explore yourself and move towards samadhi, enlightenment, whatever it is that your spiritual aims are. He's going to use everything from body, breath, mind, emotions to get there. Now, it is the most comprehensive system devised, and because of that, it's such a global phenomenon today because it deals with every aspect of what it means to be human. For the last 2500 years, the system has stood the test of time and continues to produce yogis in the Himalayan caves, in the studios, yoga studios across the world. Let's get started to understand his unique GPS to the inner dimension. The first thing that Patanjali lays out is yamas and niyamas. Yamas, and this is even before asana. Even before you start asanas, there's something to be dealt with. Yamas are the way you interact with people, observances. Niyamas, self-disciplines. Then comes asana. Asana means a seat or a throne. Pranayama, expansion of life energy through breathing practices. PRATYAHARA, sense withdrawal. Then comes internal yoga. After these 5 comes internal yoga, samyama, which includes dharana, concentration, dhyan, meditation, samadhi, a total dissolution of sense of self. So you might have been doing yoga and you might have been thinking, okay, I'm becoming more flexible. But Patanjali's journey or Patanjali's vision for yoga, vision for a human being is much more vast. Let's get started. What are the yamas? There are 5 yamas that he lays out. The first one, satya. Second, ahimsa, asteya, aparigraha, brahmacharya. Satya means truthfulness. It doesn't mean that if you don't lie, you're living a life of truth. Truthfulness means, are you living in the right relationship? Are you doing the right job as per your ideals? Are you living in the right place? Are you living a life true to your highest ideals? Because if you're not, it's very difficult to be relaxed. If you're in the wrong relationship, if you're in a relationship for convenience, if you've taken up a job which is not in line with what you want to accomplish in your life, but you're doing it for convenience, it'll never really make you a meditative person. Whenever you sit still, you will not be able to sit still because you won't be at peace. So satya means a life of truthfulness. Please understand, Patanjali's system is not easy. That is why about 1000 years after Patanjali, the Hatha Yoga masters said it's very difficult to find people who have taken care of satya, ahimsa, parigraha and the niyamas and then start training them in asana. Let us start with asana. Let's start with using the body and then the mind will come into play. Right? Now this is the approach we follow. When you joined a yoga class, nobody asked you, are you satya, are you ahimsa, are you aparigraha? All this is tick, 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 then you come into the yoga class. No. We started by teaching you asana. We started to work the body, start to open out the flexibility of the hips, strengthen the body, start to sit still, then started to breathe. And then as your mind got cultivated, you found that you're moving towards a life of truth. A few years down the line, you decided that, okay, I cannot be in this kind of a job, I cannot be in this kind of a relationship. You started to move towards your truth. Then comes ahimsa. Are you understanding? Are you getting the drift? How tough Patanjali's system is and therefore we approach from asana today? Ahimsa means non-violence. This doesn't mean that you're not hitting somebody so you're non-violent. No. You may not have the capacity to hit somebody, but you may undermine them in other ways. You may talk badly about them, you may be jealous about them, you may do something else. So that way, you're being hurtful to them. Ahimsa means you've reached a state where you have absolutely no violence, malice towards anyone, anything. Then you're completely content. If you have malice towards somebody, then you cannot be really content. Clear? Yeah, so ideas about vegetarianism and all come from ahimsa, but that doesn't mean if you've gone vegetarian 6 months ago, you've suddenly become non-violent. No. It's much, much more detailed. Yes, that's a good step, very good, but you need to do a lot more to accomplish ahimsa. Asteya, non-stealing. Now, if you don't shoplift, you don't steal from people, it doesn't mean you're practicing asteya. Often, people steal other people's time, ideas. Very often, you steal credit that's due to somebody else, appreciation that's due to somebody else. You and your partner have done something, maybe hosted people for a meal. You take all the limelight. You steal everybody's thunder. In a team, you've done work. You present it. You steal the thunder of everybody else. You're taking something that is not yours. That means you're not an asteya. Yes, it's not just material. You're taking things that don't belong to you. You can never be at peace. Aparigraha, non-hoarding, non-material hoarding. There are two ways of doing it. Either you give up material goods and you have maybe just 1 or 2 clothes or minimal thing. But please understand, a lot of people today go minimal lifestyle. But they get, I know from my experience, I'm telling you, but you get even more obsessed with those 50 things you have now, as opposed to 1,000 things you had before. Because each one, you're so attached to. You cannot even part with one small thing. That is not aparigraha. Aparigraha means you're no more connected materially. You can have 1,000,000 things, you can live like a king, but you're not connected to each of those. That, or you have absolutely nothing and still not connected to the few things you have. Those are aparigraha. Clear? Just because you've gone minimal, that doesn't mean you've given up material goods. Not at all. Sometimes it could have become worse. So if you have 1,000 things and you're attached to all those 1,000, you've split your mind into 1,000 pieces. We don't want that. We want an integrated mind in yoga, kaivalya. Clear? Aparigraha. The last one, brahmacharya, godlike behavior. Literal meaning, it refers to one's non-lust. When you're not obsessed with sex, that is called as brahmacharya. You can be celibate, well and good. You can also be a householder, well and good. But if it's not running through your mind all day long, then you're fine. A lot of the times people are celibate and they try to be in prayer or meditation, but the mind is not at ease. So if you have lust, you cannot be at ease. And we find this so many priests, so many monks abusing small boys, children, because it's been forced upon them. The system has forced it upon them. That shouldn't be the case. Brahmacharya should happen naturally. So you're either a householder or you're a monk, whichever you choose, as long as you're not obsessed with sex, you're fine. That's brahmacharya. Satya, ahimsa, asteya, aparigraha, brahmacharya. These are the 5 yamas. If you tackle these 5, you will be a much more peaceful person. So meditation can happen to you. Happen to you. You don't meditate, it happens, as we'll see. The next 5 are niyamas. Niyamas are certain observances. The first is saucha, cleanliness. If you don't have your surroundings, your body, your mind clean, very tough to stay focused. For me, my table needs to be neat. Without that, the mind's all over the place. For some people, it's the whole house, the cupboard, whatever it is, you know for yourself. Keeping the body clean. Yogis go to a great extent to keep the internal body cleansed. Colon cleansing, cleaning the intestines, so that the more clean you are, the more pure in body and mind. Saucha, santosha, contentment. You can be ambitious, but you need to be content where you are every day. Very rare to find a truly content person. Most people are not content and therefore they cannot be at peace. So sitting still doesn't mean that, oh, I have a strong back, I can sit still. No. You need to be very content to just be still, otherwise you won't make this a priority. Today people are trying to meditate for some benefit even. Even that space, you want something out of it. Yeah, when you're really content, there are some things in life you do just because you enjoy doing it. Yeah? Content, saucha, santosha, tapa. Tapa means taking on some hardship. It can be anything. It can be, say, fast one meal in a week you skip, or you wake up at a particular time in a day, some hardship. Like in the Christian tradition, you have Lent, in the Islamic tradition, you have Ramadan. You're fasting for a month. Otherwise, as we grow, as we become adults, we do whatever we want. The mind is not trained, it's almost like a child. You do whatever you want. It's good to sometimes put this external discipline so that the mind also gets challenged and trained. Willpower grows. Tapa. You can take anything that you want. Next, swadhyaya, self-study or study of scripture, study from the masters. Self-study is a great tool. You can journal. When you journal, you will find every 6 days I feel jealous, every 3 days I feel insecure. Like this, you'll begin to see certain vrittis, certain patterns in your mind. Then you'll know that, okay, this is just a pattern. If you can't see the pattern, you keep reliving the mistake. Once you can see the pattern, you get freedom from that mistake, freedom from that occurrence. Everything in the world, the sun going, the earth going around the sun, the Milky Way going, everything is going in circles, everything is going in patterns. In the atom, everything, the electrons are going in an ellipse. Similarly, we have patterns in the mind. We got to study these. Swadhyaya. Ishwar Pranidan, surrender to a higher entity. He describes Ishwar, Patanjali describes, as that which is beyond causal effect, causation, that unique personality beyond time, unique from the way we are. Yeah, that's how he describes Ishwar. Surrender to a higher entity can be anything for you. Can be nature, God, anything. If you can surrender, it simply means you've understood that you are not the center of the universe. There's something beyond you. That is a very beautiful quality to have in the yogic journey. Let's just reiterate the 5 yamas. Satya, truthfulness. Ahimsa, non-violence. Asteya, non-stealing. Aparigraha, non-hoarding material goods. Brahmacharya, non-lust. Niyamas, saucha, cleanliness. Santosha, contentment. Tapa, taking some hardship, discipline. Ishwar Pranidhan, Swadhyaya, self-study. Ishwar Pranidhan, surrender to a higher entity. Now, according to Patanjali, the yogi is ready for asana training. Can you imagine how difficult this is? For Patanjali, it's a yoga of concentration. He works with the mind, and the body is a part of that process. For Hatha Yoga, we work predominantly first with the reliable instrument, the body, and then move to the mind. Patanjali is at such a level where he has already cultivated his mind. Yeah? For us to get there, can you imagine how long it will take without any practices just to try and become non-violent? Yeah? What do I do? How do I become? So let's get started with asana. Asana is defined sthira, sukha, asana. Steady yet comfortable. Sthira, steady. Sukha, comfortable. A steady, comfortable posture. To be able to sit like this, I've taken years and years of training my body, my mind, so that I can now sit like this for 2.5 hours if I wish to. The body has been disciplined. That is the meaning of asana. According to Patanjali, why do you do asana? Tato dvandad nabhigata. Now throughout life you're thinking, should I not? Yes, no, yes, no. But when you do asana, you have no dualities in the mind. You have seen this when you finish a yoga class, you're very clear, you know what you want to do. Tato dvandad nabhigata, the reason to do asana. And how should you do your asana? Prayatna saitilyam, effortlessly. Ananta pratibhyam, fixing the mind beyond, effortlessly. I've trained, so now I can sit effortlessly. Prayatna saitilyam. And fixing the mind beyond, you can fix it on Om, you can fix it on many different things. That's the understanding of asana. So everything that you do, whether you're doing a back bend, whether you're doing cobra pose, whether you're doing a mountain pose, down dog, whatever you're doing, please remember, you're training the body to sit still. It doesn't matter whether you can nail a split or no. But if you can't sit like this, you're missing out on the point. So please train to sit still. He speaks about asana. In later texts, we have about 4 different meditative asanas, seats. Siddhasana, the way I'm seated. Padmasana, lotus. Vajrasana, diamond pose. Sukhasana, comfortable. Choose one and keep training it over the years. Asana. The next that comes is pranayama. Pranayama, prana, life force, ayama, expansion, expanding one's life, energy through breathing techniques. Now, this is not to get more oxygen. Today we are studying it and saying that, okay, if I do this, I'll get more oxygen. No, it's to get more prana, to be more mentally sharp. Now, everything that Patanjali is doing is to improve your focus. You've stopped being lustful, you're focused. You're now training discipline, tapa, you're focused. You've trained your body, you're focused. Breathing will also give you that focus. Breath is the one interesting thing that happens unconsciously and is maintained by the brain stem. But when you bring it under conscious volition, then the cortex takes over. So therefore, immediately this part of the brain comes alive, which gives you better decision making and so on and so forth. So pranayama is either the holding of breath or the training to hold the breath. Because when you hold the breath, the mind is blank. It's a doorway into meditation. So pranayama, very beautiful training. It will not happen to an unfit body. You have to train the body first. So please don't try these shortcuts. Don't go for a weekend pranayama course. You have not disciplined the body. You're not going to be able to sit like this. You can do it for 5-10 minutes, finish your course and go back home. It won't impact your life. You'll be calm for the time you do it, but during the day somebody will do something, say something, you'll get agitated. Pranayama happens when you're just sitting comfortably, watching TV, the breathing is deep. You're just walking, the breathing is deep. The process of life, the prana, the best English word for prana is livingness. Livingness is so much in you that you're coming alive. Prana, pranayama. When this happens, you're vibrant. And when that happens, the next stage is pratyahara, sense withdrawal. This doesn't mean that you're closing your eyes, shutting yourself in. No. It means you have found so much beauty within that you want to understand, spend time within. You've understood that the magic, the real intelligence that you look for elsewhere is within you. What you ate today has become you. The way you see things is because of what is happening in your brain. Everything is happening within of you. So when that not conceptually, when that realization hits home, you realize that everything that you've seen of the world has been seen here, in the nervous system, in the brain, in the body. Therefore, I need to understand what is this in me that is seeing the beauty of the ocean, that is seeing the beauty of this tree. How do I understand or connect to that intelligence? Therefore, a sense withdrawal happens. Not that you're fed up with life, so you try to withdraw. If somebody is not ready and you put them into a retreat, they'll go bonkers. If you've prepared yourself, if there's so much vitality in you, vibrancy, and you've begun to see the beauty within, you will go inside. Pratyahara. These 5, Yama, Niyam, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, are called Bahirang Yoga, external yoga. You find them towards the end in the chapter Sadhana Pada, the second chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. He starts the third chapter with the next three stages. Together it's called Samyama or Antarang, internal yoga. The first of those stages is Dharana. Dharan means to hold, to be able to hold a thought for a long period of time, to be able to contain. Dharan. Normally we like to say when you pour water from a glass to glass, there will be some air pockets. But when you pour oil, there's a steady stream. Dharan, one pointed focus. When that goes on for hours together, we call that as Dhyan, meditation. Please understand, in Patanjali's work, you cannot go for like a weekend meditation course. You have to have done Yama, Niyamas, Pranayama, PRATYAHARA, Dharan. You're preparing so that meditation happens to you. Meditation is considered your nature. Focus is considered your nature. You don't have to train that. You have to train away all the distracting factors. If my back distracts me, let me train it. If some psychosis distracts me, let me train that. Eventually I come into focus. So the difference between Dharan, Dhyan and Samadhi is not qualitative, it is quantitative. 30-45 minutes of focus is called focus. Few hours, it's called meditation. Few days, it's called Samadhi. Samadhi, I'm not going to explain simply because I don't know. When I say I don't know, I have an inkling and I've read and I've understood, I've worked with my own guru to understand, but I cannot speak about it from the experience of being in Samadhi forever. It's very important in the yoga journey that we are all honest to ourselves. A lot of the times we are trying to discuss subjects that we have no clue about. When it comes to Samadhi, the way I've understood from my guru, the way I've understood from other teachers, masters, gurus rather, is a dissolution of sense of self. There are some times when you're completely, I no more am associating with my limited sense of self. I'm Manish, I teach yoga, I do this, and no more I'm associating with that. But this is not, I don't mean it conceptually. Conceptually we can all do it. Who are you? I'm a being of energy. That is conceptual. To genuinely feel that way, for a person to genuinely go beyond limited sense of self, to be in a state of Samadhi for days together is a unique process. It happens as a rare phenomenon. So therefore, I'll just leave it at that. But what I want to share is, suppose I'm a painter and I paint. But as I paint, just like anything else in life, I'm getting distracted. I'm thinking of this, thinking of that. What should I eat today? What should I tell her? What should I do? So my focus is like, I'll be good enough to paint the walls in your house. If I can stay focused for 45 minutes, I mean just giving a time, but if I can stay focused for a certain amount of time, I'll be good enough to be a painter in a gallery. You'll be coming to see my exhibitions. If I can stay focused on my painting for 6-7 hours at a stretch, I'll be a Michelangelo. That is the essence of meditation. That is the essence of focus training. When you are so deeply immersed in your process that you lose yourself in the process, and yet you go beyond. So if an artist goes beyond, if a scientist goes beyond, they become a yogi. This is the way Patanjali has understood and explained the subject. That the focus goes on for hours, it becomes meditation, stays on for days, you've entered the state of Samadhi. This is very important to understand, because a lot of the times people think they go sit like this, they visualize a bright light, they visualize a bit of gratitude, and they go away, they feel they've meditated. Meditation is not a verb. It's not a verb, it's not something you do. There's something that happens to you. You prepare a lifetime, like Newton prepared a lifetime studying physics for the apple to fall. In that moment, there's a spark of illumination, gravity. Buddha spent a lifetime, 7 years rather, training. And then when he finally ate and sat in meditation, nirvana. So you train for that illumination to happen to you. Newton cannot think through gravity. It has to happen in that relaxed state. The Buddha cannot think of becoming enlightened. It just happens. Grace happens when the preparation is there. Patanjali is very, very strong on preparation. You prepare, boom, meditation happens to you. Then samadhi happens. It's not that you sign up for a course, you go learn a little bit of visualization. That's just mental training. It's very beautiful. Mental training is very beautiful, just like physical training. But it's not meditation. Meditation is beyond that. It's beyond that. It is when you put in all the effort, you trek, go up to the mountain, but you cannot force the sunrise. It may be a cloudy day. You trek, you put your effort and you reach there and you wait. You train to wait. And then the sunrise happens. That's how we look at meditation in Patanjali's journey. Clear on that? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharan, Dhyan, Samadhi. If your preparation is right, nobody will have to teach you meditation. It will become your nature. I hope this has given you a good understanding of Patanjali's system. We'll study more and more. In the 21st Century Yoga Project, it's very important that we understand what and how to transform body, mind and energy. There is no system that is so beautifully calibrated like Patanjali's work, because it works on body, transforming asana, works on mind, transforming pranayama, and it works on energy, transforming into meditation. This is something that I would like you, I invite you to practice, to take it seriously, to work on it, and to then share feedback. Is it working? Is Patanjali's 2,500-year-old system working today? Does it work for me? I'd like to know from you. Do let me know. Namaste.